Welcome to A-Side Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Ray Massey, along with the fellow panel members, Marlon Parker, Carlos Massey, and today's special guest, we have Mr. Henry Discombobulating Jones. How you doing, sir?
We're ready to do it, so let's step to it. I'm always blessed and highly favored.
Oh my God, man.
It's an honor for me to be here.
It's an honor to be sitting next to greatness, man, because again, I've told you before, and other fight events, I really admire your body of work and your pursuit. That's something that is not innate in everyone. You are a pioneer. But at the same time, you're walking in the footsteps of some great people. There are not many people who've done this, what you're doing. Emmanuel Stewart, one of them, but you are one of the few. So can you just tell us a little bit about your journeys so far?
Okay, appreciate you asking those questions. So first of all, this guy threw me, that's great. Let's get that straight. Right? Yeah, it's not exactly. When I was young, I thought it was me.
As we all did.
Thank you. And he showed me who was who and what was what. So, I stay humble because I know that could have went the other way many times. Now you had mentioned Emmanuel Stewart. Now he's a color commentator. I'm the ring announcer.
All right.
So it's a difference. People misconstrue that they're the same thing, but they're not.
Oh yeah,
they're not. So I'm following the footsteps of, as far as African Americans, only two others. One was in 1947. Named Joe Bostic. Out of California, and it took him 25 years to get to Madison Square Garden because of the bias. And he only did it to break that glass ceiling, and he became New York City's most famous gospel DJ. After him, you mentioned Emmanuel Stewart, he had a ring announcer by the name of James Ingram. And he died of a broken heart because he was so dark in complexion, they wouldn't let him get on TV. And so Emmanuel Stewart told me, oh man, I guess this was maybe early 90s, mid 90s here in DC. He said, now I've seen you. I know you got the skill, but do you have the will? He said, because it was hard for my ring announcer. I know it's going to be hard for you. He said, don't give up. He said, if that's your passion, he said, it's going to happen. He said, no matter how long it takes. So here I am 34 years later, considered the most prominent African-American ring announcer in boxing history. As you said, it's still a journey, still a walk. Because for 34 years, it's been just bias for no other reason than the pigmentation.
How frustrating is that? I mean, I know you talked about, I talked to you before, and you talked about how karma comes back with something that they call centrifugal force.
Remember that.
So, how do you still believe that today?
No, I live by it. And I put out that positive energy, so that'll come back magnified as God would have it. Those persons that put out the hate, it comes back to them. I don't have to do a thing. So yes, I was frustrated. At times I still am frustrated because I see others getting a shot before me that don't look like me. Nobody looks like me, but they're getting a shot. They don't have my body of work. So I've had to let go and let God in order for me to continue to be blessed. So I think the nadir of the highlight of it was on, let's see, probably February of 2018, I want to say. We had a fight card at the DC Armory. On BET, Jay-Z was the promoter, and they brought in a Caucasian ring announcer with a long dreadlock. Can you believe that? A Caucasian with a dreadlock, and I had to do the undercard for him. So my wife said, now you have to let go of my God, because this thing is consuming you. You're getting bitter. And I've never wanted to be bitter. I've always wanted to be better. But she pointed out to me, so once I did let that go, I got a call maybe about 3 months later to go to China to announce for Manny Pacquiao promotion.
No.
Not Chinatown. And the entire week we was there, I didn't see a dog or a cat, but that's a different story.
34 years, so you roughly started around age 5.
Hello. Wow. You know, Esquire for hire.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say too. Exactly.
Okay, I'll take that.
Well, the man is measured by his legacy. When it's all said and done, and you look back, your work will speak for itself. But there's one thing that's elusive right now: your success.
That's right. That's right.
Tell me about that.
Well, we're embarking upon that. We have a pilot for a reality show coming up and called Finding My Successor. So the premise is I'll go around to different cities where I go to announce anyway and have open auditions. Can you imagine the hilarity that's going to ensue with people?
I'm trying to restrain myself because I have to show some sort of.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
People bring their different demographics as well. Let's go get some ratings.
Okay.
Go get sponsorship. So yeah, I know I don't have 34 more years. We just know that, you know. Said age 5, but I'm 66. Proud.
Look good. Look
Feel
good.
Feel good, man. You know, because this is well, your latter should be greater than your former. So that's where I am in my place, in my position in life. My space is good, you know, the home front is good, you know, the children are good, and they realize that, wow, Dad's been on a journey half his life. Look at it. Half of my life for this thing, you know, but it's been a passion. That's what it is. You know, I didn't like a lot of other people, and I've tried to mentor others, but they want to just jump up in the ring and no, it doesn't work like that. You got to put in the work, you got to plan your work and work your plan. You know, I want you to subscribe to the magazine that I subscribe to, go out to the gym, meet the fighters, the trainers, the manager, go to other fights. Look at every fight on TV. You get on the Spanish channel because it's important for them to put it on. It's important for you to see it. So I haven't found anybody yet.
Dedication.
That's what it takes. That's what Mayweather always said.
And that's why you don't speak it. That's why we had this conversation. I told him that's why you have to be careful what you speak into existence.
That's right.
I'm very fearful of my voice. So I know my enemy is gonna push me.
Yes.
If I say something, so I respect it enough.
That's right.
You have to respect yourself.
Like me, I'm just the opposite.
He's just
I'll say it because
big
once I
time.
throw it out there, I've got to do it. Because anything else, you're like, you know, you're just loud mouth.
So,
Exactly. I push myself into the
I could tell you what you say, you feel that it's right.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I can go for that.
Even though it's wrong.
No, I'm in balance here.
We talked about a lot of your recent stuff. Can you take us back to like the moment that really set that fire in you to say, hey, look, there's no black ring announcers. I'm gonna be the one to make the change.
Wow. Okay, so I see y'all don't want a fluff piece, so
No, we're hitting
let's
hard.
go for it. Right on, that's unadulterated, then let's do it, dog. Okay, so the first maybe 7 years in DC, we had big time fight cards because we had more world champions and contenders that in one city at one time than any place in boxing history. Keith Holmes, William Joppy, Too Sharp Johnson, Daryl Coley, Daryl Tyson, Reggie Green, Andrew Maynard, you know, list goes on and on. So television was coming here like every other month. And it was the USA Tuesday Night Fight Network at first. They would bring in and may he rest in peace now, Ed Darian from Philadelphia. If you remember, he always say things twice. You know, that was his stick, you know. So first 6, 7 years, okay, I'm learning, you know. But wow, at some point I said, wait a minute now, I'm kind of just as good as these guys and better than most. I sell a lot of tickets. Why not me? So I went to the DC Box Commission and said, hey, you know, this isn't right. I got to sit down when TV comes on. They agreed with me and we approached the Tuesday Night Fight coordinator Jewish guy. Okay, most networks I run a Jewish guy. Let's call it like it is.
Mhm.
And he said, "Well, we got to be dictated to. We'll never come back to DC." They never did. Never did. Can you imagine that? Over me? Really? Over this? Right. So okay, that's what time I knew. I said, "Oh, okay, this is my challenge." It didn't stop there. ESPN started doing the same thing.
Mhm.
I had to the promoter over in Baltimore one night wanted me to announce his fight card on ESPN over there. So he told the promoter, the network executive for ESPN told the promoter, "No, we don't want to use Jones. We're bringing in our own guy." He said, "Well, why?" He said, "Well, Jones has a condition." He said, "What condition?" He said, he's too loquacious." The promoter didn't even know what the word meant.
Too loquacious.
He said,
Or
"Well,
ring announcer.
right." He said, "Well, I hope we can get some help with it because he's a good ring announcer." Seriously, right-handed, got both of them. Guy. I went over there, guy named Russell Peltz. Let's call it like it is, because all the guys, it's out on the table. It's the truth. What you gonna sue me for the truth?
Bring that defamation.
Not slander. So I approached Russell Peltz. I said, "Hey man, you told the promoter I had some kind of condition." "Oh yeah, I told me, you're too loquacious. Sometimes your introductions, are just too much." I said, "Well, Russell, if that's the case," I said, "you could have said, Joan, don't be too loquacious." I said, "Do you tell Buffer and Lennon that they're too loquacious? Because sometimes their introduction lasts longer than the fights. Do you tell them that?" "Oh no." I said, "Well, why didn't you tell me not to be too loquacious? And you brought in your friend from Philadelphia, Darren, when the promoter wanted me, so you taking money out of my pocket, It's not a black and white thing." I said, "I never mentioned that. You just did." I said, "So let's see what your boss up in Bristol, Connecticut at ESPN headquarters think about it." So I sent a letter up there and certified. And so he called me personally. He said, "I've seen you on our network before. I think you're a great ring announcer. You bring life to less than stellar bouts, to be perfectly honest." He said, "So that'll never happen again under my watch." And it never did until he left. And it started all over again, and it's continued to this day. So yeah, I'm still frustrated to a point, but as you said earlier, I can balance it better.
Who's call is it? To say, is it like, are you contracted in? The promoters bring in the ring announcer? Is it the owners of the show that's doing it?
Yeah. Well, two-part answer to that question. If it's HBO, well, they're not a game now, but when it was HBO, it was Michael Buffer. Let's get ready to run. See this book. See who wrote the foreword for that book?
Michael Buffer.
There you go. Wow. That's right.
And let's just plug this right now. More than a notion. It's more than a notion.
More than that happened. Purely coincidental. I'm trying to tell you.
It's not, and guess what? It's another thing I want to plug is every delay
is not a denial.
All right, now tell me about it.
And the failure is not final. Now look, he's on. Look, he's on.
And failure is not option.
I didn't write that. But the other thing is, so Showtime had the contract with Jimmy Lennon Jr. Or Jimmy Lennon Jr. had the contract with Showtime. And so so those are the two guys. But on a club show level or maybe a show box level, that's not Showtime.
Right.
Showbox is a different entity. And so that's when I got my break with the local promoter named Chris Mittendorf telling Showbox they wanted me, and I announced Boots Ennis fight in Philadelphia.
Nice.
So it goes to the promoter talking to the network
to
get things done. Right.
Well, you need a little bit of leverage as well. Yeah, you do.
But see, my leverage should be the green. One year when Amir Khan fought Lamont Peterson in DC.
I remember that. I was there.
For De La Hoya Promotions and Bernard Hopkins. I spoke to both of them. I personally sold $33,000 worth of tickets. At only 15%, thinking that's going to impress them to bring me on board. Never heard from him again.
Wow.
So you don't even, you
You
don't
might
like the
sell
color
me one.
green. I know you don't like the
Yeah.
color black, but you don't like the color green.
When I think about it, you might have sold me one of those expensive tickets.
I did. That's what I do. I'm a high-end guy. I don't do cheap seats.
Oh my God.
What are going on with the problem?
Man, I was like,
Now back to you. So the only time that HBO and Showtime came together was Mike Tyson against Lennox Lewis. Offer announced Lennox Lewis. Lennon announced Tyson. That's powerful.
wow.
Don King
Show your
said,
sister
that's
one day.
right. Don King said, no, I got my ring now. Said he's kicked Buffett to the curb for Jimmy Lennon Jr. every chance he got because he made a deathbed promise to Jimmy Lennon Jr.'s father. I would only use the son because Jimmy Lennon Jr. Sr. got Don King off on some, let's say, nefarious charges back in the day. You understand? So that's loyalty.
Yeah,
I gotta
it's
respect
loyalty.
it.
Yeah.
I might not like it, but I gotta respect it. Now these modern day promoters,
Mhm.
it's kind of like it is. Now, I spoke to Floyd Mayweather at the DC Army one night, and I stepped between his two bodyguards that I've been knowing for 20 years.
Okay.
And he stopped and looked at the bodyguard like, how you let this guy get in my inner circle? And so they kind of looked at each other and shrugged like, this is John. So he said, what's up? So I looked down at him.
That didn't help you. That didn't help you.
I mean, he's diminutive.
I know.
Tough as they come, but diminutive. And so he said, what's up? I said, well, what's up, champ? Because every time TV come to town, they kick me to the curb for a Caucasian ring announcer. You doing the same thing tonight. Oh, you must be Jones. They told me, the commission told me about you, but I can't do nothing about it. I'm about to step off, and I stepped in this way. He squared up at me, like, what's up? I said, well, what's up is, man, I'm a prolific ticket seller. He said, oh, that hit him in the pocket. Money Mayweather.
Right.
He said, wait here. He went and got Leonard Ellaby, who's from DC, brought him back over to me and said, next time we come to DC, I want him announced. Ellaby took off his glasses, cleaning them. Hey, Jones, how you doing? How the family? Like we long lost friends. Oh, man, tough, man. I met him 10 years before that at the Lincoln Theater when they had the press conference for Mayweather and Sugar Shane. Promised me work then. Never did.
And so did this promise get fulfilled?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm gonna say
Well,
yeah.
I see.
I haven't been able to get back to Mayweather.
Okay.
There's 100 people between me and him.
Yeah, well, what I'm hearing is this skill set you've developed over the years, and we always talk about some of the how we take some certain boxing skills and we master them, we hone them, and you talk about having a photographic memory. So I think some of these conversations,
It's a little blurred right now. Older, but it's still good.
Slightly.
it's amazing though, because fighters do the one thing that people don't give enough credit for. They're very observant. They notice the small things, the little things, the tendencies.
Tails.
And you, I see, you make sure you're very good at defining things. When I hear you talking in a ring, it seems like, man, you were born for this. Oftentimes there are dead moments in a fight, and between bouts, you know how it is, transition between bouts.
That's right.
And there's always that voice that's very signature. And I hear you get on there. I know he's gonna give us something. He's not just gonna give us what the next bout is. He's gonna give us the personality that comes with
That's
it.
right.
Maybe even throw a little line in there, just adequate for the moment.
That's right.
Such as in our last bout where we're at. And I just want to say I appreciate it. I notice it, and I'm sure everybody else does too.
I don't know if anybody else does. A lot of people don't pay attention to the ring announcer. They don't.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, you know,
Everybody knows Michael Buffer.
Well, yeah, okay. So a lot of people don't pay attention to this ring announcer. That's
Right.
Right.
Overly
Okay.
effusive.
Oh,
That's borderline weird.
So like, if you're a true fan, you're not just a boxer. Like, I used to fight, okay, but I'm a fan of the sport too. That's the whole base of this boxing platform, this podcast.
Exactly.
I think most fighters are just as big of fans than they are fighting. You know, even though I wouldn't want to get up, put the gloves on again, I'm like one of the biggest fans. I can relate. When you hear the energy and commitment that comes from some of these guests we have on the show, I mean, I get excited. I'm sorry.
Just to let everyone know, we all have our favorites and we all joke about this. You don't know how much it meant to Ray, I mean, to all of us, but especially to Ray to have you here. And we were talking beforehand, just going back and forth, and we were making some decisions about how the show should go and who should lead.
And I said, shut up.
No, I said, Ray, this your day. I mean, to him, it's like the prom. So I said, Ray, take off the facade.
Right. He didn't change his shirt 3 times.
So these guys stay dads, and this is what we do.
But on the real, like Ray was saying, the ring announcer job is to control crowd, bring the energy.
Should be.
Okay. Almost like an MC.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. Maestro orchestrate.
Right. Right. And be smooth with it. So like at the fight we went to, when you got in the room, did your thing, the crowd was kind of like,
up.
oh,
Is that
right
right?
on, yeah. I woke
You
up.
can feel it. Yeah. Sitting around.
Right. That's right.
Welcome to the show.
I take pride in trying. You know, my favorite scene from a movie is from Gladiator. Gladiator.
Oh, that's my.
I don't want to get it wrong, but are you not entertained? There you go.
That's right. That guy, he told Maximus, he said, oh, Maximus said, I'll kill all of them. He said, oh, it's not enough to kill a man. I got to everybody saying that to myself. I got to win the crowd to get them on board to appreciate what they're seeing. Because at some points, they don't clap for fighters because they don't know the fighters. And I have to remind them, it's not a game.
No, it is
You
not.
play this sport. It's play other sports. Your life is on the line up in here. And then it brings it back to their conscience and say, oh, yeah, let's clap anyway. Because you never know what's going to happen. And in that first bout, as you saw,
Yes.
Man, God,
He went down hard.
He went hard.
It was a scary moment.
It was one of the knockouts of all time. All time.
Yeah.
Because he got caught with a punch he didn't see, and he stiffened up like a bull,
Yeah.
closed his eyes, and he fell back timber and
In his
then
head.
double concussion.
Yeah.
And laid there.
Mhm.
He was gone.
Anytime paramedics get in the ring.
Then wheel him out to the hospital because he went to the hospital.
Exactly. So for observation, I've got to touch on this because we know what we pay to see, and we know that it's an inherent risk. You may just get knocked out.
Yeah.
But as I get older and I appreciate the sport more and more, sometimes I'm uneasy with some of these devastating knockouts.
I agree. Especially when a referee does not stop it early, and you see it's a no hope
Where it's
situation
going.
for a guy.
Yes,
I got a problem with that. One of my
exactly.
good friends that I mentor, a young man named B. Scott.
Oh, that's my man. I know B.
On TV. And I'm looking at the TV and I'm howling, stop the fight. And he never woke up.
Yeah, I couldn't even watch that fight. I missed it when it aired, but I refused to watch it. Like because I knew B. I was a kid. I was knee high to a grasshopper, fighting at 106 pounds, and I used to see him when he came in the fights. I think the first thing I said when I saw him was, "Man, dude look like incredible." His presence was like intimidating. I was like, And I was a softball too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a softball, my brother's softball. So of course, you know, we're biased. So yeah.
That's
So,
okay.
One Friday, told you one night, I said, oh, so you fight, you can fight left and right? You see, I'm amphibious.
Yeah, he hung around too long at that point. It was obvious we should have hung it up. Yeah.
I ain't haven't heard it from this ambidextrous. I said, okay, I'm gonna with them. Yeah,
Put my money on the other guy.
and that's what happened.
But yeah, man, to what Marlon was alluding to, when you get older and you get a little bit more experience, like I say, those really, really exciting knockouts that you see have a frightening reality to them because now you're talking about mental health. And as much as I love to see some of these warriors like Floyd Mayweather battling out in the ring, I also want them to need help. They got that human, they have families, you know, and just like with Diego Corrales, before he passed, before he passed, I felt so that was like my favorite fighter.
You just
And
saying
I
it.
saw
You know,
him,
everyone knows how I feel.
and I saw him wrestle with. You can see it in his eyes. I remember, like, you know, the build up to him and Floyd Mayweather. How it was stuff going on with his girlfriend.
Yeah,
that's
and you can see he was fighting with something. It wasn't the same fighter focus when he got up, and then after this, I don't know. It just makes you think. Do we really, in this day and age, appreciate what fighters put on the line?
I don't think so. Not at all. You know, and Mayweather told you, it's a sport of hit and not get hit. I'm not going to entertain you to lose my brain cells.
Exactly.
So nobody's done it better than him.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's done it better. The man is the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know, got out with his health intact, rich beyond measure. So, you know, yeah. So others need to emulate that. You know, of course, we want to see blood and guts like, you know, Mickey Ward and Arturo County.
Oh,
yeah. But that's doesn't make for a long career.
No, well, they were both in the end. They said we get cashed out now.
Right. They did it 3 times.
Yes, yes. Probably 2 fights too many too.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, but again, going back to the ring announcer position. So Michael Buffer has probably helped me more than anybody. You know, in addition to writing the forward, he's had me on stage at Madison Square, Radio City Music Hall, Atlantic City. We had a fight card in DC at the RFK Stadium. It was Riddick Bowe against Jesse Ferguson, Bernard Hopkins for Roy Jones on the undercard with a co-feature. And afterwards, he asked me, and this turned my whole way of thinking around about race relations. He said, Jones, you know, I certainly haven't mind helping you. You got the skills. He said, but why won't Don King or Rock Newman help you? He knew they could have snapped their fingers and made it happen. Okay, I didn't know at the time about Don King's promise to Jimmy Lennon Jr. Sr., you know, for his son. But Rock Newman, I forgive you, brother, but man, you got to keep your word. He promised that he was going to bring me on board when Bo became champ. He went up to New York. He got Bo out of the projects, brought him down here. We rallied around Bo, you know, because if you remember, Bo actually turned his back in the gold medal fight against Lennox Lewis. People don't remember that.
I remember that.
Okay,
And that led to an ongoing thing with Bo. Trash belt.
It did. All of that. And may rest in peace now, our chairman, Dr. Andrew Arnold McKnight. He said, Jones, you know, I'm gonna hook you up with Rock Newman and Bo, man, you know, because he gonna become champ. So I think that's how you're gonna get your break. Well, one night after a boxing commission meeting, Rock Newman told me, he said, yeah, we get that belt, man. I know what you're going to. We're gonna do it our way. Don't even worry about it. You gotta keep your word. So I'm living for this. I can't forget. Maybe you don't remember, but I can't forget because I'm living for it. And so I gave a promoter Marty Wynn. I don't know if you remember Marty Wynn, a wife named Israel. She was a fighter. So I gave him the idea to have Mike Tyson and Layla Ali on the same card. I gave him an idea from Atlantic City. He was coming back from Atlantic City. Say he wanted to do something big. I said, well, both of them need the money. I said, probably can get them, relatively inexpensive and they could, monetize this thing. Well, he put on the fight card, but he had to bring Rock Newman in to finalize it with the negotiation with Showtime, right? So I had done an interview and, saying what I'm saying now that, certain brothers that promised me didn't own up to their promise. Well, we had the weigh-in at Howard University. Rock Newman's a, graduate of Howard University. He had just had hip replacement surgery. He came to the weigh-in, waddled up to me, looked up to me. That's the stuff you put on the internet. I said, tell you about it, man. No, I ain't never say that. I said, oh, maybe you can't remember and I can't forget. I said, but yeah, you said it. So now, we got people that left Layla's part of the way and they around us now, because we got this entourage around us. And so somebody, a reporter said, right, why you never get Jones an opportunity? So he said, he realized the public sentiment is against him now. He's looking around, wide eyed like this. He said, because you've never been qualified. That's why. People start laughing. They said, man, that man been on every network that televised boxing. How is he not qualified? So he said, okay, I got something for you. Went up to the podium, grabbed the microphone, said, ladies and gentlemen, if I may have your attention, it gives me great pleasure to announce this historic undercard will be announced by my good friend, Ron Harris. Harris brother. Wow. Everybody looking at me like, wow, Joe. I went up to the promoter, Martin, and said, you gonna let this happen? Oh, man, there's just so much money on the line. I said, man, there's so much principle. Always. That's centripetal force. Always. I said, okay, that's fine. That's fine. So before I left the weigh-in, Ron Harris comes up to me, hey, Jones, I didn't know that was coming, man. But could you help me? That was so real. And you know what I mean? He was unprepared. Right. So I tried to help him as much as I could. I went home. Now it was a two-part weigh-in. First day was Layla Ali. Second day was Mike Tyson. I went home. My mother had passed. And I'm in the house by myself thinking about this. And her spirit came to me. My mother's all throughout this book, some miracles and spirituality. She said, now I want you to go back to him and forgive him. I looked around and what? I said, okay, that's you, Mom. Yeah, I ain't gonna question. So I went back the next day to the Mike Tyson. So Mr. Newman sees me, comes in, jumps on the cell phone. I said, hey, man, you don't have to. He put it down. What's up? I said, I forgive you. He said, huh? I said, yeah, because what God got for me, no man can stop it. Not just delay. Silence. One of the most articulate brothers on the planet was speechless. Like that. So yeah, so he's out of the business now, and I'm going stronger. But as I said, I forgive you, man. Man, you didn't see the vision. And that's what it takes. You gotta have vision. You gotta share other people's vision too. And you gotta want to help somebody else. You gotta want to, especially when it don't cost you a dime. Why wouldn't you want to help? Even if I wasn't qualified, you see, I'm trying. Maybe you weren't qualified either when you started. Somebody helped you, didn't they? So, only promoter ever asked me for forgiveness and apologized to me was the late Butch Lewis. Used to have Michael Spence. He used to come in the ring, Butch used to come in the ring with a tuxedo with no shirt on and a bow tie. Colorful character.
Man, more colorful than Goosey.
So he had a fight card at the Apollo one night. And I tried to get in contact with him before it. When I read about it, couldn't get in contact with him. I left message and everything. He called me about 2 weeks after the fight card. Hey, what's up, John? I said, well, what's up, man? You had a fight card at the most famous venue for Black people on the planet, and you had a Caucasian ring announcer? He said, oh, man, I wasn't thinking about nothing like that. I left that to everybody else. I said, I see. He said, man, forgive me. He said, that never happened. And he passed. But that meant so much to me that somebody had that vision and was conscious enough to realize, yeah, I could have made that right. You know, so that's all I want. You don't have to like me. I just want your respect.
But what's not to like about you? You're likable.
I don't know. My wife don't like me sometimes.
Loquacious.
But she loves me all.
I think all of us. All of us feel the same way.
That's a difference. They don't like me all the time. But love me all the time. You know, so no, it's going good. I sat up in the bed one night with a vision, the dream, but at the same time as a vision to do a documentary, to do a video. And in the dream, I was at office of ESPN, and the network exec called me, and he said, "Well, frankly, you know, as I said, too loquacious, you know." I said, "Wow, that's a backhanded compliment." He said, "Yeah, I think you're more suited for Showtime and HBO." I said, "Well, Joe's out of business." He said, "Yeah, it's Showtime, but we like our ring announcers to be cut and dry." I said, "Oh, cut and dry. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that." So I walked out the office and I put my head against the door. I was like, wow, I said, "Lord, give me a sign." And a golden microphone. Kicking out. Send it. Get out of here. Send it in my hand. Okay. Just like that. I said, "Oh, wow." So this is a microphone my sister in New York sent to me. She said, because, you're God's voice of choice, and don't let anybody ever tell you different. It's going to happen. She said, just stay the course. So here we are now. Great things about to happen.
MGM bound. Yeah, get you down to MGM, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Matter of fact, the promoter Eric Davis, that's our plan to go to MGM. I already spoke to the coordinator over there, and she said it'd take 35 grand to get in there, and Eric didn't even blink. So yeah.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. For that last event to be Eric's first one.
Yeah.
You gotta admire, man, under pressure.
Yeah.
The first one,
Yes.
man, nerves are still, man. Nerves are still. I got to look at them right now before it got started, and I was like,
Things that
I was like, stuff getting a little hairy. But man, he was.
Yeah.
Man, he had nerves like shot, man.
Yeah.
Book bag on. Man, he doing stuff.
He and I were talking. I said, "No, he's cool. He's got it." I said, "Right, no, he's got it. He got it."
Yeah.
You see it.
You watch people like that because you can always take something from them. I take a little bit from everybody except for him. But
Take a little bit.
when you see that kind of
Yeah.
nerve,
That's right.
it motivates you. It goes, oh man,
Yeah.
I could be doing something right now.
Yeah.
I could really dedicate myself to something, but again, like I told you, I know myself. I'm careful when I speak into existence because I know it moves.
It does.
And
You can't take words back.
Yeah,
No,
you can't take them back.
No.
So yeah,
Right.
What I admire about you is how, no matter how big you are, how well known you are, you still are approachable,
yeah,
and you're just as nice to the undefeated fighter as you are to the winless fighter. And from the smallest podcast to the largest podcast, in any interview, you're always the same, consistent. A lot of people many people with longevity, they have that trait. That they understand that no one's below you. Okay. And that the same guy or girl you're speaking to today, maybe the same one 10 or 15 years from now, that'll reach back and give you a hand. And again, there's no question to that. I just
thank you.
And there's been a lot of compliments coming from here, so I had to bring one from the heart.
You see, it's important.
Yeah.
That's what my mother taught me, and she said that it's nice to be important, but much more important to be nice.
Yeah.
Never forget that.
And I
forgot that.
again, that's something I look at in people. I'm a huge, you like movies, I like movies. Robert Evans, the kid stays in the picture. When at his lowest, the kid who was just working an intern at the studio reached back all these years later, pulled him back. No one wanted to do business with him. He was washed up. He was old. He had so many problems. This kid he was just nice to, no longer his intern. He runs the studio.
Right.
No, you're back in business. And that's what I see in you. And I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You don't know how it makes us feel that some people we approach and we talk to, we laugh about it. Like, get out of here.
What you doing? And then just by somebody bigger than you.
In your hometown.
Yeah. Well, I know.
It's amazing.
No shows,
Yeah.
so many.
Yeah. It's in the background, you know, it's crazy. Like, I guess we can say, like,
Don't say names. Don't say the name.
I can't say names. I'm
No,
saying
even though it's true, it's not defamation.
sponsors,
I am an attorney.
bigger fighters.
So you're right. Don't take the name.
But it's amazing that the small ones, they're small, and they act more like celebrities. They act like they're bigger than
Yeah.
like the Mike Tysons or the Roberto Durans.
That's the ego.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, wow,
I see
man.
it so many times. I used to have one of those.
How do you get past it, man? I mean,
I think life humbles you to a
Yes.
point.
Mm.
Like this off. If y'all can see this line right there. That was cancer, man. 35 years ago.
Whoa.
I was out of here. I was out of here. Yeah. And, that was it. But, and because I was out on the streets, chasing, being chased, drugging, drinking, stress levels got to me. Had a situation on my job, and just I think everything was just that perfect storm, to mess with my immune system. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And so I came down with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and so my jaw swelled up like a bullfrog jaw. And so the lady I was with at the time, she said, you better go get that checked now, but before you do, change over your insurance to an HMO. I was so wise. Soon as I walked in the doctor's office, he said, whoa, he jumped. I said, what you jumped? He said, I haven't seen anything big like that before.
Was he fresh out of medical school?
What
was that training? Did you?
Scared me. He said, oh, you got cancer. I said, man, how you had an examine? I was scared, every time I heard that. He said, now calm down. We don't know if it's malignant or benign. I said, break them words down to me. He said, fatal or not. He said, we're going to do a biopsy. Sure enough, came back, malignant. So I had to go through the chemo and all that. That's when I lost my hair. But at the same time, it not only humbled me, but I had a brother who got brains blown out. I was going through all this. So that let me know I was on the wrong course, and so that's when I had that epiphany, the change of life moment to see something for yourself, and went to the boxing. Well, before I went to the boxing commission, I tried a whole lot of things to feel miserable. I tried to be an actor, producer. So I could see you playing Othello in about 40 years. I said, no, I'm not gonna stick around that long, So I tried to be a color commentator. It was a Sports Illustrated article, and you had to go to different parts of the country to audition for the CBA, the Continental Basketball, so the Red, White, Blue League.
Yeah, no, defunct now.
Defunct. I went to Philadelphia, and out of 200 people came in third place. Not bad. I said, well, I'm good at something. What is it? So I said, I've been watching boxing all my life. Went to DC Boxing Commission. Late Deputy Commissioner, Mr. Gilbert Ware said, well, we don't have any TV contracts, but obviously you're articulate, boxing, want to be on a microphone, why not be the ring announcer? I said, I wouldn't think about that. He said, why not? I said, I don't know. He said, well, there have never been any prominent Black ring announcers that anybody know in the history of boxing. Somebody got to be the first. You take the challenge. Bingo, that bright light went off. I said, wow, you're right. I haven't seen a Black ring announcer. Okay, I'll try it. Well, yeah, 34 years later.
Because you answered the call.
So we got to do.
Thanks for that, because it brought awareness too. Because Like you were saying earlier, a lot of people didn't know about the history of the ring announcers. Maybe that inspired someone watching to pick the torch up.
That's exactly right. That's what we have to do that.
Yeah.
We have to do that. We got to pass that on. It's not gonna leave with me.
Yeah, we wanna, thank you.
Before we get into that, I'm sorry, I gotta ask.
The name.
I have to
The
ask.
name.
No,
Not
not
the
the name. No, I won't ask the name. No.
No.
I'm avoid names. I'm avoid descriptions of any characters. The funniest moment in your career. You've seen it all. You've been in so many venues.
Funniest.
Something that
Oh my.
just hilarious. You can't get it out of your brain. Look at him light up. Look at him light up.
Because I gotta be diplomatic with this thing.
To a point.
To a point. Well, I give you one. So
Okay.
I won't name any names.
Okay.
But this renowned fighter, he was getting pummeled. He came in as the favorite, but he was getting pummeled. And so he wanted to quit. And so he came back to the corner. I'm sitting right there as I do, I can hear everything. He said, man, that's it, man. I see three of them in the ring. and his manager said, well, hit the one in the middle, damn it.
That's
And he did and stopped him.
really.
I'll tell you the most horrendous situation I've seen. I did the undercard at Madison Square Garden, 1996, July 11th. Riddick Bowe was Andrew Gulati.
I remember that.
It turned into a riot.
Yes.
Yeah, that was terrible. I
I
just
had
saw
my
it.
15-year-old daughter in the crowd, and man, I mean, it was bedlam in there.
A lot couldn't control
He
himself.
couldn't control us, and he was winning the fight.
Yes.
We lost.
And Rock Newman stepped over Bo to confront Galata, and that's when all the melee broke loose. Glenn Harris' son had the big old walkie-talkie at the time and bust Galata in the head. And the entourage just started fighting. And everybody, the fans in the crowd started fighting. I saw a guy with a Polish flag with the tip of it, the spear, ran my brother in the throat and I dropped. Shannon Briggs picked up a guy like Hercules, body slam.
That's
Another
about
guy
right.
took up a folding chair, threw it like a distant, caught somebody in the head. They went after Jim Lantley and Larry Merchant, and he hid behind George Foreman. George said, I won't do that if I was your brother.
I remember that. You can hear that you can hear that live on the broadcast.
Back up now.
Yeah.
I'll do that. And so they were so appreciative. HBO awarded George Foreman the largest colored commentary contract. Kiss.
Oh, man, so that tells you next time something breaks out, you have some people hiding behind you.
Bro.
My daughter was in the crowd, she had the presence of mind to run outside, right? So before that though, when I was doing the undercard, I looked where she was sitting and this hulking man was bending over, whispering in her ear. Now she's 15 years old, but she looked grown and
They all do.
I said, "Ooh, man, oh, my 15 was dumb." I come out the ring and I tap him like, hey man, and turn around, it's Tim Witherspoon. I said, hey, Tim. He said, oh, 15. Man, Pops. So we became good friends after that. He bought us dinner afterwards.
Oh, that's dope, man. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming out, man, and spending some time with us. On behalf of the A-Side Boxing podcast, want to thank you and encourage everybody to come out and check out the book. You want to give them a plug for your social media platform?
Yeah, please follow me on IG. I'm on IG now. I'm coming up there. The dinosaurs coming.
All right.
And Ring Announcer Jones, please. Still got the Facebook Discombobulating Jones, and the email, therealkokid@gmail.com. So follow me. We got some great things coming up, and certainly for all the boxing news you can use, always tune in and take a ride on the A-Side.
We'll see you next time, folks. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. A-Side Boxing.